Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Leaders Dojo. As usual, do let us know where you're joining us from. Are you on YouTube? Are you on LinkedIn? Which part of Malaysia are you from? Or if you're from outside of Malaysia joining us, so drop in the comments and just say hi to us so that we can acknowledge you and just welcome you. And let's have a conversation together tonight. So with me tonight is a good friend of mine, Mr. Shaun Chew. And I got to know him on because of LinkedIn. I think it was 2 years back or a little more than a year back. And Shaun is someone that I've always been very, very interested in ever since I found out what he was doing when I met him. During the MCO, I'll let him tell the full story, but my impression of him was that he is really someone who has pioneered something very important in Malaysia, modular construction. And during the MCO, right, in times of crisis, this person came out and did something unique and brought something new into the market. And I think that's just amazing. So we're going to talk to him tonight, and we're going to find out what makes him think of this idea, right? How did he come up with this idea, and why he thinks this is important, and most importantly, and for me, anything that comes from Malaysia, anything that's pioneered from Malaysia, I'm automatically interested, right? Because I'm a great supporter of Malaysian innovation, and I think there are a lot of Malaysian innovations out there that's not getting enough recognition. So, and that's why the Leaders Dojo has this Change Maker series, right? I want to talk to the change makers who are making a difference out there. And today, it's Shaun's turn. All right. So, without further ado, I need to say this. So, to the Leaders Dojo is where I speak to change makers, business leaders, and we talk about leadership, communication, and branding. And this is because something that these are subjects that I'm very passionate about, because as a person who is in the communications business, I've seen how it changed. Previously, when branding was about presenting messages that were trying to impress the audiences, but over the last 25 years until today, branding has changed very much to become something that is beyond communication. It is very cultural, right? Because of the transparent world that we live in, because of social media, businesses can no longer just present an image and expect people to buy into that image, right? People are expecting brands to walk the talk. They expect what their brands to represent. They expect brands to represent something that is important to them personally, uh, right? And they expect brands to walk the talk, and that involves beyond just communication, but it involves leadership in the company, because the leadership sets the tone for the culture in the company, which is how the company behaves. So that's where this show comes in, right? This is part of again, what as I mentioned, is my passion, but also because it's part of the effort of the company that I'm with, or rather the training outfit that I'm with, the Communications Leadership Academy, where we want to help companies pivot from the old way of doing communications and branding into this new way, where it's more about culture, where it's more about leadership, right, in addition to branding. So without further ado, let me start the show proper, and then we'll have Shaun coming to speak to us. Hi, Shaun. How are you?
Hey, hi, Chee-Seng. Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening. Okay, let's say hi to a few people. I see some people in the comments already. So Theo from YouTube. Hi, hi, hi. Very well, thank you, Theo, for your question. Sean, say hi to Theo also lah.
Yeah, hi, Dr. Teo. Should be Dr. Teo.
Doctor Theo. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm sorry, Doctor Theo. Uh, Mushrif, hi. Puchong Hustler. I don't stay in Puchong, but I stay very near Puchong.
Hi,
I'm at
hi, hi,
the
hi.
at the beginning of the Jalan Puchong in OUG. And who is here? Who else is Jocelyn? Hi, Jocelyn.
Yeah, hi, Jocelyn. Hi, Vivian.
Oh, yeah, lor. I was thinking it's Vivian, but how come it's didn't put Vivian there? Hi, Catherine. Hi.
Yeah, hi, Catherine.
All right. So thank you everyone for joining us, and let me introduce Sean. Sean is, as I mentioned just now, pioneer in one of the pioneering people in Malaysian modular construction. Sean, maybe you can tell us a little bit about yourself, right? What you're doing professionally, where you're coming from, who are you generally? Just let us know.
Oh, generally, I have about 25 years of experience in building construction. Basically, the first 20 years was in materials, lah. Then subsequently venture into products. Actually, for the first 20 years in tradings of building materials, it's always a dream lah, to have a own product lah. Because when
Mm,
you are in a trading industry, you don't have your own product. You carry
yeah,
people's product. You sell
correct,
people's product. You see, so
correct.
we are always at people's mercy. That is the problem. That is the
Correct,
problem.
correct.
So until then, last 5 years, I met this group of people, and they told me about their vision, their mission about this new product. Actually, we started from one product called PPVC.
Mm,
PPVC is a way forward building system, which is now is a what you call that, is enforced in Singapore. The high
mm.
rise building in Singapore, they are using this PPVC system. What is
Okay, hold on first.
PPVC?
What does PBVC stand for?
Yeah, PPVC stands for prefabricated, pre-finished volumetric construction.
Ah,
So the system is exactly that what I'm doing now at my modular.
right.
So it's a Lego system.
Mm,
So it's also the same concept, which is 85% of the uh, construction is done in the yard rather than in the construction site. That means
mm,
everything is pre-finished, including all the finishing products like the tiles, the sanitaries, M&E like the electrical, the water, the
mm,
sewerage. You see, so this is the difference lah. So actually, when we started uh, the journey on PPVC, actually we are just as a subcontractors lah, subcontractor
mm.
in one of the big Singapore developer, which they have a
Okay,
yard in Johor, Ulu Chor. So
okay.
we were given the opportunity to so called supply them the fabrication
But
steel molds.
is the Singaporean technology?
Yes, it's a Singaporean technology.
Okay.
So from there, we after 1 or 2 years with them, so we learn a lot of things about PPVC, and we think this is a product that we think we should uh, develop or to bring into Malaysia. You
Mm,
see, so but again, uh, this system is totally different from other construction.
mm,
It is quite costly in the sense
mm,
you need a very large land to do fabrication. We are
mm.
talking about 60 acres, 80 acres, or 100 acres of land just for your fabrication. Yeah, because why?
Oh,
Whatever
because of
you fabricated, you need to keep at the site until the installation is ready. Then you deliver to the site.
right.
You see, so you need a very huge storage space, and of course, the machinery also quite capital intensive in the sense. So when the pandemic hits us, the pandemic hit us on 2020, right? Mm, then we really sit down and think lah. Actually, should we start the PPVC?
Mm.
And from there, uh, I think it's not the right time yet lah.
Mm.
Then suddenly something strikes our mind is this modular construction system, which is using the steel to
Mm.
convert from concrete to steel.
Okay. So
You see,
previously they were
convert,
all concrete sections.
yes, concrete section, concrete modules. So
Mm.
from there we shift it to instead of concrete, you use steel.
Okay.
That's where the modular construction system comes in lah.
All right. So
So
wait, let
of course,
me show a video so that people know what you're coming. I mean what you're talking about. Hold on.
yeah,
Okay. So yeah. So as we're watching this video, maybe you can tell us what we are looking at.
this is actually the steel structure lah. This is how we built the cabin from the scratch lah.
Okay.
You don't buy when you look at the finished item, it looks like a container. You see the shipping
Right.
container, but actually we build them. We don't buy the old and refurbish.
Okay.
So this whole video you can see the how we built the whole container from the scratch.
Hmm. But it looks much nicer than the normal what do you call it, the container style of what do you call it,
Container cabins
the container cabins. Yes, that's right. Oh,
Mm.
the video, don't know what happened to the video resolution.
This is how we install lah. That's our connection. The connection we have already patented the connection.
Okay. So this is the base that we see is a metal base. You just lay the. Do you have to do a
Yeah, it's either
foundation
you
or?
can use a you need to do a foundation. You need to sit
Okay.
on the flat foundation. Because since it's in front of our factory, so we need to put steel lah.
Okay.
So at the side, you don't need to, you just need to do the ground beam. And this is the final product lah, the finished product.
Wow, this is. Actually, I like the design a lot. I really, really like the design a lot.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay, so interior. So the interior you can customize to any way you like, right?
Actually, you can.
Okay. As far as I know, for the converted containers, they have to like build a layer of insulation, right? The outer wall is here, then the insulation, and then they build in the inner wall. Then the cabin then becomes much smaller, right? Because of all the.
Correct.
So compared to yours, what is yours also similar, or can you like control the size of the interior?
Actually, the size that we built is we are based on few criteria lah.
Mm.
First thing is that we are on the material cost saving. So, of course, secondly, we have to comply to the ACTA 446, which is the room clearance for each of the workers is 3 meters square. So we have to design according to the ACTA, you see. So as you can see, the room over the video, room for the maximum packs that you can allow is 6 packs only, because the room we design is catered for 18 meters square. So it's a
Okay.
max you can put up is 6 packs. That's it.
Okay. So then that means it's not the container cabin size. It's according to
totally it's
legal
not,
specs.
yeah, according to our specs, not the container size.
Okay.
Because all this modular we have to consider the transportation, because everything has to be transported out to the site. So the
Right.
low loader, the maximum length is 12 meter, and the width is something like 3.2 to 3.3 meter. So
Okay.
we cannot design something which is exceeded the low loader size. So normally we go in between the
Okay.
low loader size, and we design accordingly. And
So
that's
it
not what you
still has to fit
mentioned about.
into those trucks that transport the containers.
Yes, the trucks. Those we don't use those container trucks. We use low loader lah.
Okay. All right.
Load loader. And then just now you mentioned about what's the difference between the container cabin you see at the current market. Actually, the current market that you see, that type is a refurbished type of cabin.
Mm.
And they do have insulation, but some they don't. Some they don't,
Mm.
some they do have.
Without
And
insulation, how do you stay inside? It's pure metal.
actually, construction site, they don't care. Lah. That is the problem. Lah.
Oh
You
my
see?
goodness. It's like oven, and
So,
sometimes when we have 30
you,
something degrees.
so it's in a way to punish the workers not to sleep in the noon. Lah.
Oh my goodness. But the I mean even then the at night is still hot, right? The air doesn't go out so fast.
Definitely, lah, compared to ours, we really design based on those criteria, like those airflow in and out. You see, comparing to the container, you don't have much design. What you
Mm.
do is just make a window, just a door, then
Yeah.
that's it. You see, but
Correct.
ours is different because ours we cater for permanent approval, so we have
Okay.
to somehow rather we have to have a 2 hours fire rated wall. So that is where we created our own drywall. You see, we
Mm.
bought the materials. We bought the material. Actually, it consists of MGO board and this ceramic wool. So we
Mm.
create our own drywall and we patent the drywall and we use
Mm.
it for our so-called 2 hours fire rated lah, where we
Oh,
obtain the approval from the bomba lah.
yeah. As far as I know, ceramic wool is also very good for soundproofing and heat proofing,
Yes,
right?
yes,
So
it can
soundproof, heat
withstand
proof,
around
fireproof.
yes, can withstand about 1,000 degree.
Okay.
Mm.
So Dr. Teo says Top Glove should look into this. I'm wondering whether there's a reason why he specifically mentioned Top Glove. Dr. Teo, any specific reason, or does Shaun know this background story? Wow, SZ. Do I pronounce your name correctly or not?
Simon, is friend of
Simon.
mine.
Okay, right. So let me ask you the next question then. Oh, you already answered. Okay, what is the advantage of modular construction, right? What you're doing now compared to other methods? I mean, even your own development of having steel walls instead of concrete. What is the advantage?
Actually, comparison wise, our product and the conventional, actually the single greatest part of modular construction system is the speed.
Mm,
The greatest part is the speed. Why I say the speed? Because when you come to conventional, you need to build stage by stage and have to wait for curing and things like that. You see,
mm,
whereby when you come to modular construction system is you build it much way before you start your construction. That means it can be
mm,
produced in a production way. You see, you can produce and keep. And
mm,
yeah, once your approval, you obtain your approval, and you have completed your infra works, that's where our system comes in, and our installation is very fast
mm.
compared to the conventional. Conventional,
How,
you cast first floor, then you have to
right.
wait for curing, then you go for the second floor, third floor,
Okay.
fourth floor. Right? Am I right?
Right.
And
Correct.
then you
Correct.
have to start doing all the plumbing works, electrical work, and things like that. But ours is 85% done in the yard, you see, and
Mm.
all M&E is fitted. What we do is that we deliver to the site, we install, and we just connect the electrical, the water, and sewage, and it's done. You see.
Okay. So what crossed my mind suddenly is you are comparing to concrete, right? So
Mm,
concrete prefab or modular is permanent.
mm.
So that is so what you're saying is that is your competitor product, is it?
Yes, the concrete, and of course, in the market, actually there are modulars in the market, but they
Mm,
are cater for construction site. Let me
mm,
explain a bit. In our industry, to get temporary approval for workers accommodation is only construction site.
mm,
Besides than that, you have to go for permanent.
mm,
When
mm,
when, when it comes to permanent, you have to obtain the proper like development orders.
mm,
In Malay, they call it the KM, the Kebenaran Merancang. That means you have
Mm,
to go according to the developer. That means you have to
mm,
do submission, all your drawings, and to get the approval done. That approval
mm,
will take you maybe around 6 months to 9 months.
mm,
Then where your construction uh, can physically start doing
mm.
the infra works, you see. But with
Right.
the 6 month and the infra work time frame, maybe let's say about 3 months, 9 months, actually we already start fabricating in the yard, you see.
Mm,
When the 9 months, the time comes in, actually all your cabins is ready to be installed. So
mm,
that is the big, huge saving that I am trying to stress out
mm.
compared to construction.
And also, I think it's a different mindset lah, right? Because usually when people think of containers, they want something cheap, fast, don't really care about quality, right? Because I've stayed in some container places before. The
Mm.
floor is plywood, so when you walk, you can feel the bounce,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes.
And then the walls also, they just put a plywood there. I'm not sure whether they put insulation lah, but the plywood you can hear kong 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 kong,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
So
Okay, actually, there's a lot of container hotels around. I think you can go and
yeah,
experience it.
it just feels very flimsy lah sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That is why you see our this modular cabins, our floor are concrete. We don't use plywood because
Oh,
we can't find a similar product to replace the concrete because
mm,
the floor you requires the 2 hours fire rated. So
right.
there are no alternative better than concrete in the sense of costing lah. You
Okay.
see. Mm.
But your concrete is very heavy, right? How does
Yes,
your floor hold up against the concrete?
we have the structure to hold to the concrete lah.
Mm. So
So
is
that's
it
why
a thick
one
slab or like 6 inches or what?
uh is 100 4 inch 4 inch thick.
4 inches thick, ah. That's
Yes.
very heavy. There's like this thick, ah.
Yep, yep. 4 inches. Actually, one cabin is weight about plus minus like 8 to 9 tons.
Wow. And okay, then that the other thing occurs to me now because I saw your video just now. You were crane, lifting by crane up and stacking, right?
Yes. Yep.
How strong is your your structure, right? Because you're stacking like how many tons of concrete on top, right? It's not those normal container anymore, right? It's where it's just the steel structure and plywood.
Yeah, that is why it took us about 18 months to come up with all this design, you see, because we
Mm,
work with a team of consultants and engineers and of course the architects. What are the things that we can do? What are the things that we can't do? You see. So
mm,
actually, especially when you say it's 9 ton, how do you do it? Actually, the structure is really designed in a way that can cater for 4 stories. So
mm,
you're talking a point load, 9 ton times 4, 36. One point load is about 9 ton only, right? So it's okay. So the design is already so-called endorsed by the engineer. So there will be
oh,
no issue lah.
okay.
Mm.
So if I understand you correctly, that means your construction is faster than normal concrete. Okay.
Mm.
Which also means, and you're saying this is built for permanent use,
Yes.
suitable for permanent use.
Suitable for permanent. That's why
But
we our
uh,
target audiences are those manufacturing CLQ.
okay,
You see the
CLQ.
centralized
Maybe
labor quarters,
you can explain what is
centralized
CLQ.
labor quarters,
Centralized labor
centralized
quarters.
labor quarters. Yes,
Okay, so that means it is as strong as a permanent structure,
yes,
but you can take it apart and transport it and rearrange it, or even on the same side,
yes,
take it apart, rearrange it.
yes. That means
That's
it's
very
very
interesting.
fast, very clean, and then the most interesting part of it is that there are some flexibility in future. If let's say you want to move your dorm away from your existing factory, maybe you have some expansion plan on your factory that you
Mm,
require that piece of land, so you can move this dormitory away from the existing land to another
okay.
new piece of land. So instantly there is a residue value compared to concrete. So this is another added advantage, you see. Because when
Mm,
you talk about concrete, you cannot move. You see,
Yeah,
the only thing is
correct.
that you have to tear down the whole structure
Tear
and
down,
you have to
correct.
pay for the cost to tear down and you have to pay the cost to throw the rubbish. You see, but as long as you said, or as long as we talk about modular construction system, the flexibility is there, it's movable, and
Okay.
the beauty part of our modular construction system is that the joint that we design is only bolts and nut.
Mm.
No welding is required. You see, so you just unscrew the bolt and nut, and then the whole thing can lift off, and here you go. You can transport it out anytime.
And that is also your patented system. Ah.
Yes, the joint lah. I would say the
Mm.
joint lah. Mm.
Okay. So I'm just trying to imagine. Let's say there was a container, or not container. Lah. Okay, got to get the picture on my mind. Let's say there's a hotel owner, right?
Mm.
Built a 4-story hotel.
Yeah.
Then, like 2 years later, I want to expand. And since I'm expanding, I want to reconfigure, right?
Mm.
Put it in a different way, change the design a little bit, the layout. Is that possible?
Uh, it depends lah. It depends because when once you comes to modular, this type of modular system,
Mm.
uh, the only setback is that all the M&E. See,
Okay, okay.
when the sewage is at this area, that means first, second, third, fourth floor, all the sewage has to be in a line. You see,
Okay. All right,
it has
all
to
right,
be
all
a
right.
line. You cannot like suka you want to stack like this, stack like that. So where your toilet going to be? So how are you going to settle your sewage issue, your water
Okay,
issue? Where the water discharge? You see, so that is a problem.
okay. But
There are limitations.
theoretically, it's still possible if they're willing to spend that kind of money.
Yeah,
Okay.
but
All right.
it cost them a bomb.
Okay, I think Jocelyn has asked the money question. Literally the money question. What's the price are we looking at to build a similar structure? So okay lah, assume the one behind you lah. 3 unit with a 4-story lah.
That one should be around 4 story. This is 1 to 4 units. 4 units are talking about around 800,000.
800,000. This one is for 4 units per floor. Ah.
Yeah. Well, this is only 1 unit because it's 3 cabin. Actually, one the middle cabin is the living, and the left
Oh,
right is the room. You
the
see,
rooms.
yes. So three
Okay.
cabins to become a unit. So actually, you look at my picture behind me. It's actually
Yeah.
4 units.
Okay.
1 unit per floor. So one
All right.
unit we
All
are
right.
talking about around 180,000.
Okay. How
Mm.
many? How many per unit? How many sleeping per unit?
This one can cater for 12 packs.
Ah.
Mm.
Okay. So anyone looking for backpacker cabin car somewhere in the jungle car? Oh, that one you can construct. You can engineer to those places. Ah.
Uh, we need to see the access first lah. See whether the access the load loader can transport in or not. If let's say the access is not transportable lah, then it's difficult.
Okay. All right.
Mm.
Okay. Okay. So something, Jocelyn, something for you to consider if you are planning to build a home. 800,000 for 4 stories. I think that's really really good deal. All in 800,000, including storage and
Yeah, just the
infrastructure.
cabin, all the finishing, all the M&E, all included, except the loose furniture lah. Mm.
Very good deal. How many square feet altogether? That one as a sample
This one is about 997 square feet.
times four, so 4,000 square feet altogether, more or less.
Yep.
Okay,
More or less about 4,000.
okay. Bungalow size 800,000. Good deal. Swilin from Promet Singapore, involved with specified protection. So far, I've involved with 2 by 10 story hotels, 1 by 10 story condominium, 1 coffee hotel, 2 nursing home, 1 Hong Kong social housing, all by steel frame modular. Really fast, clean, and productive. What is all these numbers? 2 by 10, 1 by 10 meter, is it? Or
2 times 10 story, is it? I think 2 blocks, 10 story hostel.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
Wow. Okay, 10
Actually,
stories.
she's from Promet Singapore. Promet is actually one type of a fire rated board. It's a very
Mm.
good fire rated board. You see, actually,
Okay.
we did earlier we did consider about the Promet product, but unfortunately, it's too expensive, too costly for us. So what we did is we design our own one. So
Ah,
actually, there will be a cost saving more than 50%. I would say
okay. Because
it's a good product. It's a good product. It's
yeah,
ready in a market product. It's widely used in Singapore, but Malaysian can't afford lah.
yeah,
Unfortunately
because
lah.
of RM.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me ask you, actually what motivated you to go into this area? Because you were talking about many years you were in dealing with construction materials, right, and selling other people's products. So why suddenly, especially since you said it was during the MCO, right, like you venture
Mm.
into this one. So what motivated you in such a risky time, right, during that time?
Uh, actually, let's look at the situation because
Mm,
during the COVID, I think we have seen a lot of news or a lot of so-called write-up in the paper, not mentioning the company lah. They are
mm,
providing so-called very unhygienic types of hostel. You see,
mm,
that's where we think that we should come up with something lah to solve their problem. And of
mm,
course, we need the speed lah because for the next 3 5 years, the demand is already there. It's
mm,
whether they want to build using your system or others' system in the market.
mm,
So that's where the challenges comes in that we need to convince them
mm, mm,
uh,
mm.
how good is our modular construction system.
Yeah,
You
and
see.
we see in Malaysia, no matter how big your developer company, there are only two that I've seen lah: worker quarters, plywood and container, right?
But now, because after the COVID, this Ministry of Human Resource has so-called touch up the ACTA, the Act.
Mm,
We
mm,
call it the Act 446, which is the minimum standard housing standard, workers housing standard. You see, so when this ACTA kicks in, so those relatively those people, those manufacturers, dormitories,
mm,
they have to comply somehow rather. You see, there's a
mm,
minimum compliance. I think the immediate changes that you can see is that they really put a stringent uh, requirement on the mattresses. So
mm.
instead of last time there's no spec for mattresses, now they have minimum 4 inch for ACTA
Ah,
446.
okay.
And there's another act for those who exporting to US and Europe. They call it
Mm,
RBA. You
mm,
see, Responsible Business Alliance.
mm,
You see,
mm,
and that will be 5 inch. You
mm,
see, so if you were to comply to RBA, you make sure your mattresses is 5 inch. And if
mm.
let's say you do not have export to this type of country, or you don't need to comply to RBA, then you have to be 4 inch. You see, and
Okay.
then you cannot share your beds, you see. And then the
Mm.
beauty part of our Malaysian businessman, I tell you, during the COVID, they even found out that the bed also got shift one. That means the bed is sharing by two people, the morning shift and the night shift. See, this
Serious.
is what they have found out lah. That's why they do amend on the act that no sharing bed is allowed. You see, due to the hygiene issue lah. You see.
My goodness.
Mm.
Okay. If any of you have any questions for Shaun, do ask him or drop a comment and let us know what you think. Right, we'd love to hear from you. Meantime, do share and share the this video to your friends, because we always have these fantastic conversations. Shaun is here with me today talking about his innovation, the modular construction system that he's developed. So do like and share this video, and just share, with your friends, these great conversations that you have. And do hit the bell button on my YouTube channel or my LinkedIn profile to subscribe. Don't miss any of these great conversations. Let me say hi to Robin very quickly. Hi, Robin, and all those
Hi,
who have
Robin.
just joined us in the last few minutes. Thank you so much. Jocelyn has another money question.
Robin is in Hanoi, He's
Ah,
tuning in from Hanoi.
right. So, thank you, Robin, for joining us all the way from Hanoi. So, Jocelyn, say I have a piece of land. Would it be possible to build a home for me compared to the big projects that you're doing out there?
Definitely yes.
Okay. So, how? Okay, let's say the person has a very this picture of a dream house with all kinds of funny shapes. How possible is that?
Uh, Actually, if you just want to build, this modular types of construction, if you want to build like what you have mentioned, so your dream house, those funny shape, actually can be done, but it's just very costly, very
Mm,
costly. And when it comes to modular, we are talking about production. Production
mm,
means that we try to standardize a few sizes and we mass produce it.
right.
That's where you bring down the cost and be more competitive in the market, you see. But if you want
Mm,
to produce something like what Jocelyn said, her dream, that will cost a lot of money lah, to realize her dream lah. And can be
mm,
done lah. Not to say cannot be, it can be done lah, but it's costly lah.
right.
That's why a lot of
Okay.
people came forward, oh, I have this dream, I have that dream, I want it to be this shape, that shape. Actually, anything can be done, but the problem is
Mm.
when you give them the price, they can't afford. You see, they
Would
can't
it be
afford.
more expensive than conventional method if you do like your
Yeah,
dream house
definitely
method?
it will. Actually,
Mm,
steel is much higher than compared to concrete.
right.
So in order to compete, you need to mass produce it. You
Okay.
see, so that's what our intention is. That's why we lock in a few sizes, and then we want to do it in a mass production ways, so that we have less wastage. Uh, we produce faster, cheaper,
Mm,
and of course, very uniform. You see. So
mm,
actually, if you look at our production, is what you have seen in those car production. You see, it's like conveyor
mm.
type. It means
Yeah,
you
yeah,
stand
yeah.
there, you put up this screw, you put up this screw. You don't mess up your thing. You see, you just go by the flow. This is what we
Mm,
are looking at.
mm. So coming back to this question of what motivate you to go into this area. So yes, the we 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 did, I mean, discover a lot of non-compliance, so to speak, during the MCO, right? When
Yeah.
enforcement was really very high to curb the outbreaks. But what was it that made you suddenly think that, hey, this, we need to go do something about this?
Because of why I mentioned earlier, I shifted from PPVC to this modular construction system. So
Yep.
when we come into modular construction system, because one of my partner has a
Mm,
company in Singapore. He
mm,
has an experience in doing all this modular system,
mm,
and he really studied very well, or he really pick up the dormitory system in Singapore. He knows
mm,
in and out how to manage the dormitories and how to produce a good cabins. You see,
mm,
that's where he bring up the idea, and we think that this is a good idea, that we need to
mm,
improve our so-called our Malaysian uh, so-called the centralized labor quarters, and
mm, mm,
in a so short period, there are so high demands.
mm,
You see, so this is the ideal system if they want it fast.
mm.
You see, compared to conventional method. That
Okay.
that's where we really look into this, and we really started the whole thing lah.
Mm.
Mm.
Okay. So tell us about the technology that you developed for this system. So you have a few patented uh, innovations, right? So tell us what do you have that's unique to your system?
Actually, our company background is a steel fabrication. So
Mm.
we know in and out about steel.
Mm.
See the characteristics of steel, the design, and the know-how lah, I would say. So actually, when we talk about our connection joint, it's not rocket science, nothing special. We just keep it simple. We just keep it simple and reliable. That's it. And then we
Mm.
just patent it because there's no one using this kind of design. So we just
Mm.
to secure, or maybe layman say when we're going to do marketing, at least we have something to tell people like, hey, my things is patented lah, okay? My
Yeah.
things is patented lah.
Hey, but
Things like
sometimes
that lah.
sometimes the simplest things are the best.
Yeah,
I've spoken to Nehemiah Lee, right, of the Nehemiah Walls. His innovation is also not not the earth-shaking, revolutionary, never seen before kind, right? It's just that he has taken the next step, right,
yeah.
to create something different and more easy. So I think it's same with you, lah, right? So it's
Mm,
not like the brand new world, but you have taken something the next step and it's made a big difference, lah, in how things can be done.
yeah. That's why I say nothing special about my technology. Just simple and
I
nice.
don't
And
say
I
that,
just
please.
patented it.
If it's innovation, if it's patented, that's special already.
Yeah, actually, we are just trying. After we have the design the thing, we send it to for the patent, and we wait for the result. And finally
Mm,
came out. Oh, this can be patented. No one is carrying
mm,
this design, so we are happy
mm.
and it's done lah.
Okay. Uh, for your method itself of steel fabrication and this kind of design engineering, is it patented as well?
Oh no, that one can't be patented because there are similar thing is already in the market. You cannot patent it.
Okay. All
It's
right. All
just
right.
that uh, we are more specialized in steel, so we
Mm,
know how to make the cabin in a way lah.
mm,
I would say we know how to make the cabin, and it's stackable lah. We know we
mm,
have the secret sauce of doing the cabin lah. Whereas a lot of people, I think they may not be able to stack their cabin. You see, so you see a lot of, if you ever notice the construction site, those cabin they stack those temporary type or those rapid one or whatever.
mm.
You can see a lot of welding. They done a lot of welding because the sizes of the cabin also not uniform. You see, so when they
Yeah.
stack up, somehow or other, the thing like the what you call that, they just not to say chincai do lah, but because their things is not uniform lah, I would say lah, not
Yeah.
uniform. Mm.
Yeah.
That's why they have the
And
problem.
also flimsy. Really flimsy.
Because no choice. I mean, it's not their fault because the end user want it to be very cheap, so they use something very, whatever material they so called they build the cabins are from the thinnest possible. So when the finished product is out, definitely will be flimsy. Even if you don't know how to so called unload or load up the cabin, the whole cabin will be twisted as well because
Yeah.
the structure itself is already very flimsy.
Yeah.
Mm.
Anyway, so this takes me to my next question. Introducing this new method into the market, where you mentioned, right, a lot of people they just want the cheapest and fastest, and compared to yours, you are presenting something that is of solid enough quality to be permanent, right?
Yep.
So what are some of the challenge that you are facing in this?
Uh, the major challenge is actually the authorities, the
Mm,
marginalists. Because
mm,
once when you come to this permanent thing, then you have to go accordingly, which
mm,
very time consuming. First thing.
mm,
Secondly, when it comes to dormitory, actually dormitory in Malaysia now is something a big hoo-ha thing in Malaysia right now because
mm.
even at the federal level, also they haven't set a proper guideline yet.
Oh, really? I thought
Not
the ACTA
even a proper
520 has.
guideline
Oh
yet.
no, the ACTA 446 as you mentioned.
That is for the ACTA 446 that the requirement required for the dorm. and the Majelis, that means the local council, which is responsible for the building code, building act.
Yep.
They don't have a guideline yet.
Oh.
So sometimes when you go to the Majelis, he look at you, saya pun tak tahu. Saya pun tak tahu. Wow, I tell you, this is the biggest joke.
Hi, and welcome, welcome.
So
So,
this is the biggest challenge we are facing lah. Then of course subsequently because dormitory is something new, dormitory is only allowed to be built on commercial and industrial land. Only two types of land.
okay.
And on top of that, you need to add usage on your land title. That means the existing title, you need to go to the Majelis and apply to add usage for dormitory. That will take you another 6 months to 9 months.
Oh, wow.
So these are the challenges that we are really facing because very time consuming in a sense.
But compared to like if they do plywood structures or container cabins, do they have the same problems or no?
That is for construction. Construction they apply for temporary approval. So
Right.
there's not much requirement. So that one will be very fast because they don't indicate what you should put, what you should not. You just okay, temporary, because construction normally they build they learn 2 years or 3 years, then it's completed, then there will be no dormitories over there. So it's a temporary structure thing. So they don't care like what you say you build from the plywood, or even you want to use the cardboard to build also can, as long as can stay can really. So that one there's zero requirement, there's no fire requirement at all.
Right. Wow.
But now what they need to do, they need to comply to the ACTA 446,
Yeah,
which
correct.
the room size, let's say the container, after the measurement, you only can allow to stay 3%, then you have to stay 3%. So you eventually see a lot of containers on the site. Because last time we used to stay 10% or 5% or 6%, but now they are not allowed. So they need to buy more containers.
Okay.
So last year there's another big hoo-ha, shortage of container because these people are snatching all the containers.
So in that case, then how would your your modular system fit into this situation? For CLQ, for example, what will be the advantages over the older kind of methods?
And again, it's also very just a simple speed. So when it comes to modular, everything is talking about speed. That's it. Fast,
right?
Compared to conventional, and then of course
So
uniform, clean.
So which means the previous method doesn't comply to legal requirements anymore. So they customers do have to look at other kinds of construction methods for temporary quarters,
Actually,
right?
you still have IBS in the market. You can use IBS, you can use conventional, or you can use our type, cabin type. It's just that what you want to achieve, you want the speed to so-called to catch up with the time shortfall. Because those big entrepreneurs are talking about those big manufacturing plant, they have orders in hand with those overseas buyers. You see, if every now and then they will send people to audit your dormitories, as you can see in the paper. People like this Dyson create a lot of hoo-ha in Malaysia because the employers are not compliant. You see, so if you have that kind of problem, then if you want to settle your problem fast, of course, modular construction system would be a good solution. You see, and then of course, you don't see much CLQ in Malaysia. You only see in Johor Bahru or Penang. In Klang Valley, you hardly can see but there's one in Kelana Jaya.
Klang Valley, as I know, a lot of employers are renting houses and apartment units and things like that, because there's quite a property glut also in the Klang Valley.
We have spoken to JDK as well. JDK is the Jabatan Tenaga Kerja, which is the enforcer for this ACTA 446. So each of the dormitories you need to apply through JDK to get the accommodation license for 3 years. They will have to come in to audit okay, like your space, whether your space is enough to cater for, let's say you want to put six pack. Okay, the space is compliance. Okay, now your bed is your bed compliant. Okay, take. Then your cabinet for your those cabinet for the workers for the stuff where you keep all your baju. You see,
Mm, mm,
then your toilet ratio, your kitchen facilities, and whatever. Then they will give you approval based on 3 years renewable basis. You see,
mm,
so we have spoken to them. I said, "Hey, come on, why are you allowing them to stay at a single story or uh, flats? You see, you
mm,
are disrupting the communities there. You
mm,
see, he said, what to do? No choice. There's no dorm here. But if you were the first one to build the dorm, definitely I would kick them into the dorm. Actually,
mm,
preference still given to the dormitories, but
mm,
uh, there's no one step out and really look into the matters lah. I would say lah. Actually,
mm.
government should come in and interfere or enforce or even comes out with certain projects to cater the needs of the people lah.
You know what it sounds to me? It sounds to me like you need an investor who will build the DOMs, who will build the CLQs, right, and then rent them out to
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
people who need.
That area we are looking at as well. We are looking at
Yeah.
that area as well.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, who wants to invest in this project, make some long term money? Please get
Oh,
in touch
sure.
with Shaun. Look for him on LinkedIn, right? Yeah. Okay. Yes, yes, Simon, please do share out this video and let the world know, right? This the advantages of the modular construction by Shaun. I'm actually really impressed that you are strong enough to be a permanent structure, permanent concrete structure, right? Strong enough to be a permanent concrete structure, but you can build at speed, right? And it's light enough to be carried around, uh, and technically able to be reconfigured also, right? If you're willing to spend the extra money,
Yes.
right?
Actually, the money, the extra money you spend is like what you mentioned earlier. If you want your dream, like you want to build a hotel, then I just so-called change a bit on the facade only one. Use a better material, it looks better. That's it. Then it becomes a hotel.
Yeah.
So it's nothing special lah. I mean, not rocket science. It's just what kind of material you're going to use as a
Mm,
finishing. You see?
yeah. And I remember a long time ago, my friend moved into a prefab house. You know, those days when we talk about prefab, it's like low cost. That's the low cost way of building. But it's very strong, the structure, because the walls are all concrete, right? So we want to drill
Yeah, yeah.
nails, knock nails. It's like then we will, even though it's thin, maybe it's like 6 inches only, right? But
Mm.
it's very very strong because concrete you need the wire mesh inside also, right, to hold
Yes,
the
yes,
structure together.
yes.
So I remember when she first moved in, I went there trying to help her hammer in some nails. Wow, the nails cannot go in. So,
Yeah,
but
now all the condos in town they're using this system, so all they have
yes,
the same problem because it's fast lah.
yeah,
It's fast lah. I would say it's faster,
it's fast, but
fast
you
better.
you cannot do much lah. And once all your trunking inside is done, it's done lah. Any damage later, bye bye lah, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely. Then you have to do it externally lah.
External,
So
yeah, no?
you, yes, externally. So it may looks not appealing lah.
Yeah. Because I
Or
remember
rather
there was
very
one time,
ugly lah.
and I remember this is a risk because there was one time I don't know, maybe the old construction methods are a bit weird lah. I drilled because I wanted to mount a speaker on my wall. I drilled into the wall, and the wall is near a corner like this, right? I drilled into this section, and I actually drilled into the water pipe. I'm wondering what's the water pipe doing here. So the guy had to come and hack the wall and replace the whole pipe section. But the thing is, if this happened to a concrete wall, I don't know how that's going to work out. Right. So yeah, so I think, but this one has no issue with your metal, right? And it's just very simple to carve out one section, replace the materials, whatever happens to your fit.
Because this is a dormitory lah, so whatever we don't want to so-called what you call that. We don't want to cast all the pipes or the wiring into the wall lah. We try to put it
Ah,
surface,
external.
so
Okay.
for easier long-term maintenance lah.
Okay. Okay.
Because this is a dorm, this is not a house, so you no need to be so
Not
appealing.
so not so pretty
Uh,
lah. But if you want
Not so
to
pretty
move,
lah.
if you want to move higher up, like you want to do like a hotel,
Mm.
then can lah.
Then is another story lah. Then
Okay.
we have to so conceal it lah.
In that case, is it cheaper to build with modular or with a normal method?
I
If let's say
think
you want to build a
over
hotel lah, a budget hotel, let's say.
mm, it depends. It depends. Actually, if you want to build a hotel, what's the purpose of you building a hotel there? It's because you actually when you come to modular, there's certain things that you need to consider. Like if let's say you buy a land in KL, a small piece
Mm,
of land, a congested land, and apparently maybe at $1,000 per square feet.
mm,
But over the years, maybe 20 years down the road or 10 years down the road, it may goes up to maybe 2,000, 3,000.
mm,
So meanwhile, the land, you can't do anything with the land because you don't have intention or you don't have any plan on the land. But
mm,
if you can use this modular to build a hotel there, after 20 years when the land has appreciated, you can just move the hotel away and you sell your land.
mm.
You see,
So the
that's the
structures can
idea there.
still be reused.
Yes, you can sell back to us. We can take back from you, or you can reuse in other sites. See,
Ah,
uh, that's the
okay.
beauty way to so-called to keep the land, invest in land, whereby you can
What's
enjoy
the
the
if
appreciation value.
if you're talking about reuse, what's the lifespan of your unit
At least 50 years, because
Wow,
we are using the solid steel. We don't use the flimsy type of structures, so it
50
can last
years.
us for 50 years easily. Lah.
I think a lot of developers don't dare to claim that also.
Because based on the construction, based on steel, it's written there at least 30 to 50 years, no problem.
Right. Okay,
Mm.
Jocelyn is asking another question. I think she might be seriously considering possibility of going off grid with this structure. It means you build a house in some kampong somewhere.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. Just that the transport cost only, not a
Mm.
problem.
Okay, Jocelyn, invite us to your place.
Actually, in fact, we even have a few overseas buyers came forward to see us for technology transfer as well. That means they
Mm.
want us to transfer the technology to them. One of them is from Taiwan. I
Okay.
haven't met him yet, but we have a round of Zoom.
Mm.
She should be coming to Malaysia, I think somewhere in August. Lah. He wants to
Mm.
bring this technology to Taiwan and to Oman.
Mm.
So he
Oman.
wants us
Wow.
to transfer the technology, build a factory in Taiwan, build a factory in Oman. So
Mm.
we are in so-called in the verge of trying to come up with a deal with them. Lah. And
Yeah.
there's another Malaysian, I think I should be seeing him somewhere next month. Uh, I think apparently now he's in Jakarta. Lah. He'll be
Mm.
back maybe sometime end of next month. And he wants to bring this technology to Africa.
Mm.
Mm. He has a lot of business around the world, so we have also a round of Zoom meeting, and we
Mm.
intend to transfer this technology to Africa. So we are still exploring the possibilities
Mm. I
and
think.
last week we just have Indonesia visited us, also have the
Mm.
same intention.
I think that's
But it
amazing
may
lah.
not work well here. Maybe we have perhaps we must move overseas
Yeah. I mean, is it because acceptance rate here is very difficult?
uh, Definitely, there will be a challenge lah. There will be a challenge lah because Malaysians are very slow. They are a good follower, so nobody do tamal buat.
Difficult for you as the leader, right?
So we keep on convincing, tell them why you should do, why you should use. You see,
Okay, so this one actually lead me to a question that I've been waiting to ask the whole night actually. So a
mm.
lot of these companies who need CLQs, right, centralized labor quarters, they are they are listed companies, right?
mm,
because they are big enough to require this kind of thing.
mm.
So all listed companies need to have their ESG
Yes,
fulfillments, right?
correct.
So I just cannot understand, if you have your ESG requirements and then we value our people, blah blah blah, and we are fulfilling this, responsibility to society and humankind, and don't talk to me about creating better quarters for my worker lah. Whatever cheapest can already. So I I cannot understand this. What is your view on that?
I have the same so-called problem that you are facing. I'm still looking for the answer as well. Really cannot understand these people, when they can afford and they don't want to do. You see, they
Mm,
still practicing wait and see policy, whereby actually you are huge enough, and then sometimes if you are public listed company, uh, you are dealing with a lot of export.
mm,
You see, I think recently you also see, I don't want to mention which company, a big plantation giant
mm.
advertising in LinkedIn, advertising in paper to call back all the old workers and compensate them, just because of ESG issue.
Oh, but they won't
I
build
don't know
them a
whether you
proper
notice or
CLQ.
not. It's not good for me to mention. It's a
Yeah, yeah.
very big giant company.
Not many big giant lah, so we can more or less guess.
Uh, and then there's one company, I think last year compensated around 200 million just
Wow.
because of the sanction in US. And then the company does this one.
So I think maybe some news needs to come out in the US about CLQ in Malaysia. Then maybe you get some business here lah, I guess.
Uh, yeah, in a way, but
But I think it's quite sad lah. Generally, the trend is Malaysian innovators won't get much acceptance here. I feel
mm,
the trend over as I'm 48 now, I start to realize things about the world maybe about 30 years ago, and ever since then I noticed is that's the case, right? You start something here, you want to sell something here, it's something new here, and it's very hard to accept. But once you go outside the world, the Malaysia, and it gets acceptance, you come back inside here. Wow, Malaysian hero! Wow, you can do so many things. Yes, we claim you. You are the Malaysian flag holder. Blah blah blah.
they welcome you back, right?
Yes,
After you have succeeded in overseas. Yeah,
yeah.
correct.
Why can't we support our products here first?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
Give our innovators the capital, from the
mm.
profits to expand overseas. Right? Make it easier for them.
Actually,
Ah,
it's fallbacks for to me. It's fallbacks to the government. Actually, this type of thing is an enforcement. Government just say I want all CLQ to be built in this system. This is something that the government is looking at. We want something like this. The speed, uniform, very what you call that concept.
mm,
They just enforce it, and it will definitely work. But the problem is that the government also not really strong in doing all the enforcement. So also that is part of the issue lah, I would say lah.
Also, I think there's a lot of political sensitivity involved lah. You offend people, then you know. Ah, well, okay.
Definitely.
Let's not talk into politics. Then we have another 1 hour here. Okay, Jocelyn, wonderful, Sean. Modular construction going places. Yes, Jocelyn, remember to invite us to your modular home in Kampong. Kampong, which Kampong? Jocelyn, you let us know. Okay. Zimon agrees. Okay, we have come to the end of the show. Thank you very much, Sean, for being with us here tonight. Very very interesting to learn about your system and also what you're doing different in the market. Definitely I mean, I see the video. It really looks very impressive, right? It looks very pretty inside. So I think I've always believed from the moment I met you and I know what you're doing, that's this is something that's really workable lah. Okay, so I think myself and everyone here is wishing you all the best with all the overseas inquiries. Go ahead, go outside there, carry the Malaysian flag, then come back here, become the hero, and everybody have to buy from you. At that time, make sure mark up 20% more.
Yeah,
Because
true also.
yeah, it's cheap, right? Overseas you charge USD.
Yeah. Actually, modular in overseas is nothing new. To them, is very common product. But in Malaysia, wow, like rocket science like that. This is nothing special.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, lor, like you said, Malaysia is very slow to adopt.
Yeah,
Well,
very
it's not
slow
even
in
new,
adopt.
like it's to them it's new, right? If it's new
Yeah.
to them, even though
Mm.
it's old outside, it's very hard to adopt. I really understand this because I come from a small town, Ipoh, and people there are even slower to adopt.
Mm.
So it's just Malaysia. Jong Swee Lin, way to go, Sean. Really well done. Work together to create your next generation of modular. Amen. Amen.
Sure.
Right. So wish you all the best, and I hope all those inquiries turn out well. Definitely, I'm looking forward to see your progress, lah, Sean, my brother. Right.
Sure.
Uh,
Thanks for having me today.
and wearing your suit, shaking hand with Jokowi. Oh, no need to wear suit when meeting Jokowi. T-shirt can already.
Yeah. Must learn like Elon Musk, wear t-shirt.
Yeah.
Perhaps I wear singlet.
Cannot. It's singlet over already.
Over too much, over the line.
Yeah. Okay, so thank you very much everyone for joining us tonight. Just want to make a small announcement before we leave. I'm going to be taking a break in July. I mean, the Leaders Dojo is going to be taking a break in July because um, I'm starting up something new, and I just want to take a bit of time to focus on that and get that off the ground. But I promise you, when I come back in August, I'm going to have some very, very interesting news for all of you. So meantime, please do subscribe to my YouTube channel, or to click the bell button on my LinkedIn profile. Oh, well, hit the bell button on my YouTube channel as well to stay updated. All these Leaders Dojo videos are on the YouTube channel. So if you want to look at the past videos, please do. We always have amazing guests on the Leaders Dojo. I've never had one guest that didn't provide amazing insights and amazing stories into what they are doing. Okay, so help me bring up my channel to 100 subscribers, please, because I want to have my own YouTube unique URL. Okay, so do subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I will see you in August then. Until then, I wish you all a very good night and see you on LinkedIn.
Thanks. Bye.